Okay, so we have clicked go live. We will see if
It says
YouTube
live on
will
my. It
pick
says
this up.
live on my side.
It says live. It says live.
So
All right. Let me just.
I just got a notification.
Perfect. Yep. All right. Well, hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Rob from Here Today, Where Tomorrow, and we are joined by the newly designated, the Jolly Cruise vlogger, Mr. Jason himself, who is also quite a jolly fellow. How you doing, Jason?
I try to be. I try my best every day.
That's good. That's good. So Jason and I just recently got off of the Islander, and we just wanted to get on here and have a little chit chat about our experience. We both plan on doing really in-depth reviews on both of our channels here in the next week or two. So stay tuned for those. Subscribe to both of our channels, Here Today, Where Tomorrow, and the Jolly Cruise
vlogger.
Absolutely. So once we kind of get those down, but this is kind of the spitballing thoughts. You could consider this as a rough draft, if you will, to our deep dive and review video. But first, we've introduced ourselves. Let's talk a little bit to those that may not know about the history of Jason and I. We met in 2021, the first cruise back from COVID. We had all been waiting, absolutely waiting. Hello, Katie. Hello. Thank you for joining us here. We had been all waiting with bated breath for cruising to return. We were, yeah. And Jason was the Facebook admin for this first sailing back out. It was the first one that the Carnival Magic did back in service after the shutdown. He was the admin, and we just, hey man, we're all you're excited, we're excited, can't wait to do this, and basically hit it off from there, and then spent the lead up to the cruise getting to know each other and getting to know our fellow cruise passengers. And the moment we stepped on the ship, it was like being surrounded by 300 family members.
Exactly.
And all of us have been hanging out since. I mean, we've literally probably 15 different people or groups of people on that cruise have hung out with someone else. Hey, what's up, Linus? Thanks for joining us. Alexa, hello.
Alexa.
Super excited that people are coming in now.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, so
I mean, I've been trying for 4 or 5 years to get rid of him, but he just keeps following me.
That's right, like a parasite.
But yeah, like parasite. But on the bright side is, over the time frame, we've cruised on 5 times together, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like
Between you and me and Patrick here, we got Popsicle Patrick in the background here. Yeah.
We've done five or six cruises together. We've got more planned.
Yeah.
And the fact that he actually eats lasagna now, sort of.
It's true. Kind of. It depends. In most forms, yes. Yes, absolutely. Alexa asks, what are we talking about? We are going to be talking about our time on the Margaritaville at Sea Islander, which we recently got off a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And really just wanted to dive in. People are interested. Margaritaville at Sea is still kind of the new kid on the block. So kind of see what two seasoned cruisers that have different focuses, things that we care about, but had been on the same sailing. So we figured we'd conjoin with our powers combined. We would
Wonder
let
Twins
you know.
activate.
That's right.
You didn't wear your shirt today.
Colt says hello. No, I didn't wear my shirt. I was repping the brand. I thought about wearing it, and I can't find it. I think I wore it to church last Sunday, and so I think it's in the hamper still.
Okay.
We got a Colt says hello, nice bro. What up, nice bro? Ice Wallow comes says MAGA. Just
okay, whatever.
Okay,
we'll
whatever.
Go with it.
I get shirt.
Katie, we are definitely excited for Celebration Q.
Yes, absolutely. You know what? Honestly, like the newness of Celebration Key is going to absolutely, like, I can't wait to get. It's been, I don't know how long since Carnival has had a new destination that's theirs.
Oh, it's been
Years.
long time.
Yeah, so super excited for that because we'll finally get to see what their we've seen what they've done with the XL class of ships. What can they do with a cruise destination?
Exactly. I'm excited for it. Definitely.
Yes, she was waiting for another live stream. There it is. Spit it out. She got it.
She's
She got it.
very excited for a live stream.
Yes. Are you nice, bro? Chicken or tasty? What the absolute? Scott, Jason,
No
thanks
problem,
for
Scotty.
subscribing to my channel. The Steaming Bean. What is that? Is that sounds like a coffee shop?
No, okay. Remember, Scott this is Scotty Mack. We met him in the sushi.
Oh, the northerner, the northern Canadian guy.
From Canada.
Hey,
He's a
Scott.
elementary school PE teacher. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I can't. His profile picture is so tiny on the phone. That's so fun. Scott, what is up? That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great chatting with you on board as well, man. Super cool. He's a northerner. Like, you remember Game of Thrones, and they're talking about the northerners that lived north of the wall, and then the people that lived south of the wall called themselves northerners, and the people north of the wall were like, "You ain't a northerner. You're a souther. You're a south of the wall. You'll never be a northerner." That was so funny. But yeah, so anyways, we have some we're 7 minutes in. Let's get on to we'd love to do a big group cruise. We actually I've been thinking, let's see, a couple weeks ago, one of the guys from my Vlogger Extravaganza cruise posted a video from the Vlogger Extravaganza, Joe from New England. He's been working for 2.5 years now to get his vlog series out from that. That was February of 23. And he's still posting videos from that. And he just posted another video. And I was thinking, man, I was watching it and I was like, man, I really wish that we had another big group cruise. Because honestly, that was so fun. Obviously, you didn't go. But that is where I met Popsicle Patrick when he wasn't a popsicle. And when he was an actual person. Patrick, not Popsicle Patrick.
And didn't eat stewed prunes.
Well, he might have. He might
have.
We didn't really know each other then. So I don't know. What he did in his free time, I don't know. But yeah, Lolita Loca group cruises, they are a good time. Yeah, Tony from Lolita Loca is like such a cool, down-to-earth guy. And of course, Jenny B is a sweetheart as well. When I was on the Vlogger, I spent quite a bit of time in Tony's shadow, just sitting with one of them. He would just sit down at the Starbucks and just talk with you, and like that was so cool to just have that. But all right. Let's talk about the Islander. First off, let's talk about the new terminal. I have never sailed out of Terminal 6. You had neither. Yeah.
No,
so
first time for me.
Yeah. Oh, Popsicle Patrick did a number on Madison. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Ahoy Chromo. Love Tony's content. Yeah. Honestly, the guy's an OG. He got most of us through the pandemic when it came to cruising, including me. So definitely fun. But yeah, so Terminal 6, pretty basic terminal, not a very difficult terminal to figure out. I will say once we pulled through, dropped our luggage off, found parking, and walked in, all that was pretty self-explanatory, and they had a lot of people there kind of guiding us along. And then once we got in line, we were a little bit later than our appointment, like our time to arrive. And so I think we were probably 20 to 30 minutes after our
it wasn't too bad, but it was
right. And it's almost like they had 3 or 4 lines set up where they were like, these are the people that are early, these are the people that are on time, these are the people that are late, this is everybody else.
Right.
And so we were put in these are the people that are late, but are in the most recent transaction time. And so our line kind of moved faster than the this is everyone else line, but they were kind of doing the Universal Studios, Disney, 3 people here, 6 people here, 2 people
Right.
here, 9 people here. And so we ended up getting in the building not much later. I do think that line was under a pavilion.
Yeah,
Our
we were
line
under.
was not. Yeah, which was fine because the weather was great at the time. In inclement weather, or what I saw, maybe it was a week or 2 weeks ago, they were 2 hours delayed. And
Right.
so the TPA was like, we've shut down. We can't do anything. And so Transit Port Authority was to blame, I guess. All their systems shut down or they had some big glitch. And so everyone stood outside for like 2 hours or
Yeah,
something.
I saw that line too, and I thought, there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
But it still wasn't. Even when they're standing in line, it wasn't summertime. So it wasn't
Right.
summertime in Florida where it's 95 degrees
Right.
and 100% humidity.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't bad. So once we got in the building, we moved. Let's see. Mr. BDDSWC met you on NCL a year ago in February. Hey, man. Can't quite see your profile picture, but thanks for joining the live. Appreciate you coming in. Yeah, that was probably what, the Bliss February on NCL. When did you do the Epic?
I did the Epic in October.
Okay, all right. So yeah,
Yeah,
then,
that was
then we're
Halloween.
talking. We're probably talking about the Bliss. Let's see, was the Bliss in February? Yeah, I think the Bliss was in February. With my
with
wife and
wife
kids.
and
Cool.
kids.
Yes, that's awesome. It's good to see you again. Yeah, okay, awesome. Yeah, that was a great cruise. That was the I really do love the Breakaway Plus class. Jason, you have to get on a Breakaway Plus or Breakaway class ship with Norwegian. The Epic is not
No,
not the one to go on.
my honest thoughts on the Epic is I would not go back on that ship again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was my first Norwegian, and one that honestly was not a good introduction to a Norwegian. But I
No.
knew that it was the first cruise coming off of transatlantic, and it was
Yep.
a quick 3-day over Halloween. The ship doesn't flow well from floor to floor.
Yeah.
The rooms, because you walk in the room and
Yeah.
immediately on your right side
Yep.
you've got the toilet and shower. Then on your left side you've got the sink, or no, the toilet's on one side, the shower's on another. Then
Right.
your hand washing sink is in the middle of the room, and then it's not
No.
set up.
That's why they didn't make more of those.
Yeah, you can definitely tell why that's the only class that they have on the Epic.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, honestly, we need to get you on a breakaway. We should get Popsicle Patrick or Person Patrick, either or. We prefer Person Patrick at
yes,
times. Most of the time we prefer, because Popsicle Patrick is very quiet, which is nice. But
yes. But
yeah, we need to get on a breakaway.
if y'all want to know Patrick in person, he's
Yeah.
P&B's Wide World of Ports.
Yes.
But in order to get the three of us together, you have to watch each of our vlogs on the Princess Guys cruise, which
Yep.
was on the Princess, the Sky Princess
Yep.
last year, and it was nothing but 7 days of belly laughs, and it was so much
Yeah.
fun.
Seriously. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. I'm glad you could stop by. That was real nice.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Scotty says NCL needs to improve on their food. Same with Royal. I will say, Jason, you definitely had an issue with NCL on food,
Yes.
but my experience with NCL has been pretty good when it comes to food wise. In fact, I would say NCL holds the best Italian restaurant for me. Their steakhouse, or I say steakhouse, their Brazilian steakhouse, not their like steakhouse dinner, but
Right.
their Brazilian steakhouse is amazing just because I love the idea of a Brazilian steakhouse. I love the just like smorgasbord, the different types of meat and as much of you as you want, and the nice big picanha, and then a sausage, and then you get some chicken, and you get some steak, and just bacon wrapped jalapeno sausage, whatever. It's all so good.
Right.
I have not done Royal though. That's the thing is a lot of people talk about Royal, and I have yet to do Royal, so I'm definitely interested in that. I got to get on a Royal sometime soon.
I'm planning to do Royal in February of 26.
Yeah.
I'd like to get it sooner, but that's gonna be my first Royal. Now Norwegian for me, I was only a quick 3 days, so I didn't have a great time on the food side. But to me, honestly, the bistro on
The
Epic,
bistro. Yeah.
the best specialty dining food I've ever had.
Yep.
I mean, it was by far, and my wife is the same way. You know, she's like, she got her French onion soup and she loved it. She kept eating it. She's like, "Oh, you got to try this," and she kept eating. "Oh, you got to try this." And she picked the bowl up, drank from the bowl. She goes, "You got to try it." Then it was bone dry by the time I got some. So,
Nice.
but
Thanks.
I got it.
That's
Yeah, we
awesome.
definitely.
Yeah, Madison would love Royal. Yes, I'm on Shipmate.
I'm on shipmates too. Scotty, I sent you a friend request a while ago. I think I'll have to double check when we're finished with this live.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up because we're both on our phones, so we
Yeah.
can't
Can't
really
really
look it
do
up
much
right
of
now.
anything.
But yeah, yeah, it's so funny to like be live on a phone because I'm like I can't check on the things I want to check on because I would use my phone. But
Right.
yeah, so once we got into the terminal with the like in Tampa Terminal 6, once we got into the terminal, things moved pretty smoothly, but much like Norwegian, there was like a hurry up and wait bit
Definitely.
where it's like we waited to go through security quite a little bit, and
That's
then
a good 20 minutes or so at
yeah,
least.
and then once we like got through security, we're like, okay, here we go. Now we're moving, and we went into another room that was just another queue line, and we're like, oh, okay, and then we just did the same thing over again, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then we finally got to check in. So it wasn't necessarily like we didn't have to wait in the sense that we weren't sitting and waiting. We were just in a line and the line took a little while.
Right.
So wasn't the best embarkation, but it definitely wasn't the worst embarkation. Tampa's a smaller port, obviously, like Miami or Port Canaveral or something. You move through a lot faster because there's just more people. There's more people that work there. There's bigger spaces, and so getting from point A to point B takes longer. Whereas in Terminal 6, it's a pretty small and tight space. So there was nowhere for you to go other than to the next person in front of you, which was just a few steps. So,
Right. But
but
I did like again like Norwegian where you get your key card and your room key right
yep,
there. I like that
yes,
aspect of
yep,
it where you
yep,
don't have to
absolutely.
wait and you don't have to carry around your boarding pass and
Hmm. What was my room
I
again?
like
Yeah,
getting that right away.
yep, yeah, that was definitely good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got on the ship. And once we got on the ship, we were greeted by a Spirit class 2000 ish
Hmm.
ship that we like. I really enjoyed the theming. I think
Yes.
that when you have such a heavy IP like Jimmy Buffett and all of his discography, it's easy to find a lyric or two to pull out of a song and create a whole themed area out of. So that was pretty nice. Right when you walk in on that atrium with the giant blown out flip flop and the flip flop bar and everything,
Right.
I thought that was really, really great.
But on the theming, like you're talking about, Jimmy Buffett's got 60 plus albums or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Crazy
Some
numbers.
crazy. Yeah.
I being the first time on the Margaritaville, any ship on the Margaritaville, I was expecting everything to be Jimmy Buffett
Yep.
everything. Like only Jimmy Buffett music
Yep.
24/7.
Same.
I was expecting that and that's not what it was. It was
No.
more tropical theming than with Jimmy Buffett references than anything
Right.
else.
Yep. Sweet. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
one of those things where I think that I definitely thought that it was going to be a lot of just if you don't get the reference, you're going to miss the whole thing. So I
Exactly.
do appreciate the fact that they didn't play Jimmy Buffett 24/7. But if you did want Jimmy Buffett, it was always there. There was someone
Exactly.
playing music. There's some lounge. There's some bar. There's something that was good. Yeah, the sports bar was pretty funny. It did look a little dated. Yeah, that was cute. I really liked trying to think of what the name was. What was the name? It was the Havana
The Havana
Bar, but it was
Daydreaming,
like
yeah. That's
that was
the
like
sports
right
bar.
behind that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
area.
that was the sports bar because you had the Havana Daydreaming, the sports bar with the different TVs, which was kind of like
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And then they had like all the pass-through windows and stuff. Yeah,
right.
yeah. That area right above the far side of the world was really nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the sports bar area.
yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. That was fun. I did like that, and I think overall, I would say that most of the spaces felt uh appropriate. Like I feel like nothing ever felt out of place. Like
Right.
you have the bubbles up bar, you have the hemisphere, dancer spirit area, lounge and bar.
Hmm.
The flip flop bar felt like it felt like it should belong there. So I
Right.
think there was a lot of like taking, it's one thing if you design a ship, you go, this is what I want the ship to look like. I'm building this house. This is my house. Then
Right.
you get someone else's house and you're like, well, where am I going to put my furniture? I feel like they really did well matching their theme with and I'll use the word, the curvature of the architecture, if you will.
Right.
It felt like it fit well. They're taking all the posts and they're not going to remove the posts. They're just going to drape ropes between it, which gives it that kind of,
Yes.
Caribbean tiki, we're out on a dock at the bay, wasting time kind of thing. And I think all that really transferred well, personally.
Yeah, the only thing that really to me that didn't really seem to fit was the uh the piano. The
Mm,
white baby grand piano that was just
yep.
kind of like
In that
stuck there.
bubble. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
and it was just kind of in the middle between the
Right.
two bars,
Yep.
the hemisphere bar, and I don't remember what the other one.
Yep.
What I guess you can call it it was not the alchemy bar, but it
Right. Right. Right.
kind
Right.
of
The
reminded me
same
of that of
style.
where the
Yeah.
alchemy bar would be on a carnival ship. That just
Yep.
it didn't seem to work. It didn't seem to fit. It was
Right.
just kind of like, oh, we need a piano bar or some kind of and then
Did
plop
you
it there.
ever go into the nightclub?
I did not go in the nightclub.
Okay, I only went that one time, and it was really fun. But that was one of those places that I was like, "What in the world?" Because like, you go in to the nightclub, and you're on the top floor of the nightclub, looking down on the dance floor. So like, you walk in, and you can either go right or left. There's like some seating, but you're looking down on the dance floor, and it was so weird because like you would think I'm walking in this like turnstile door,
Right.
this revolving door, I'm going to be walking to
The dance
in
floor.
the club, but it's not. You still had to go down this like pretty tight spiral staircase down into like this dungeon kind of thing. There was no way out downstairs. Like you had to go back upstairs to then leave. So
Oh,
it felt very dungeony, and it was dark because it's the nightclub.
because the
So it
nightclub.
just was like all the haze and the fog and the loud music, so you're like really confused, you can't get out. It was kind of weird. I definitely kind of felt meh about the nightclub, but I wasn't really there to actually do anything. It was
Right.
more of like a, let's go check it out. And then we walked in there and everyone was like, we started like it was like fresh of the night beginning. It's just opened up. We're like, let's go in there and check it out. There were like 6 people in there. And then once it got to about like 15 or 20 people on the dance floor, we're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's bounce. There's too many people here
Right. I can definitely see
in
that.
this dungeon. Yeah, but it was good. Let's talk about what we thought kind of overall of like we've talked kind of about the ship itself. Obviously, we could talk about the room. The rooms are pretty basic. They're very carnival, anything you would see on a carnival ship.
Right.
It was the same layout for the Freedom that I was in just a few months ago. So
Yeah.
pretty much carbon copy.
Yeah. We had a balcony room, and it's like every other balcony room I've
Yeah.
ever been in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for the Epic, but that's a unique one. We won't talk
Yeah.
about
That's different. That's
that.
right.
But
We don't talk about Bruno.
we don't. Now I got that song
Yeah.
stuck in my head. Hey,
We don't talk
appreciate you,
about
brother.
Bruno. Yeah.
No, no. But
Yeah.
the room it's a basic room. We had the
Right.
balcony room. The only it had the shower curtain
Yeah. Not a
instead of
fan.
a door.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the step actually to get from the room to the balcony.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but we should have broken that shower curtain so they could
Yeah.
put a door in there.
Yeah, seriously. Those were probably the two. Oh, and the third gripe. Those are the three gripes I could have about the room. Shower curtain,
I know.
the door frame was like whatever, but you had to watch out. Like every single time I tripped on that door frame because the
Yeah.
threshold was like a solid inch, maybe even 2 inches taller than it should have
Right.
been, just because of the age of the ship. But the thing that really bothered me was that they took the time to put power at the bed, which is great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Both end tables had lamps, and both lamps had two ports. You had a USB A and a USB C on the lamp, on the end table, at the bed. That's perfect.
Right.
Why is it not a household outlet? Why? Why do we not have a household outlet? You took the time, you did the crime, but you didn't do it fully. You didn't go all the way. And for us CPAP users, both Jason and I both use a CPAP machine. We had to run an extension cord and put a hazard in the room, a tripping hazard in the room, because there wasn't an outlet next to the bed. There was only one outlet, and it was way over at the desk. So
Yeah.
if you're ever thinking about going on a cruise and you bring an extension cord, because I have yet to see any cruise that has a household outlet at the bed. For me personally,
I don't think I have either.
no. USB ports, yes. I've seen quite a few that have a USB A or a USB C, but no full household outlet. And I hope someday that changes. But yeah, that was probably the only real gripe. I liked our location. We were on deck 8, right? 8?
7.
Yeah. 7.
Yeah, we're on 7.
Yeah. 7. And I felt like that was a really great location. We could go up to get food, go down to hang out with people. We were like right in the middle of both.
Yeah.
So I think that worked out really well. And I took the stairs the whole time. And so personally for me, I felt like that was a good location, except when we're coming in from Progresso, because that was like floor 0. And then we
Right.
had to go like all the stairs. And that was
Me,
rough.
I didn't take the stairs at all.
No.
Well,
you took-
I would go downstairs.
Yeah, you went up 1 or 2 flights once or twice, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two flights is about my max.
yeah, but
And that's only because of health reasons.
right,
But other than that, yeah.
But yeah, so I would say room, ship, all that stuff's good. Food, I have a video coming out tomorrow that is all about our specialty dining. So we did the specialty dining package, which included the JWB Prime, 1 dining credit at the Islander main dining room for dinner, the Sparkling Bubbles brunch, which was very good, and then $25 a la carte at Farside Sushi, Island Eats, and the Tiki Grill, and then your gratuity across all of those, which was nice.
Yeah.
And at the time, we paid $119 per person for it. It just changed, and it is now $159 per person.
Oh, really?
So it's $160, and I'm like, ooh. And now the brunch, which was $15 a person, is now $20 a person.
Okay, I think though the $20 includes, that's like their total price.
Okay.
So I think it still might be 15, but that includes gratuities in there
Okay. True.
as well.
True.
I
Okay.
think that's what they're doing. I don't know for a fact.
True. But anyways, that's a difference in price between the $119 per person and the $159 per person.
Right.
And I go kind of in depth whether or not that was a good investment or not. Obviously, it was good for us because it was the cheaper price. And I would say it was worth it. I definitely think there were some standout successes in that
Brunch.
whole thing. Brunch was like the best. Absolutely. The brunch was the top standout in the food. And honestly, I was pretty disappointed in the steakhouse, to be honest. especially when I compare it to other steakhouses that I've gone to even more recently, like on the Carnival Freedom. It just, for the price and what I received, uh, it didn't line up. And then, of course, all the other a la carte options and stuff, they were really good. The Islander main dining room, I kind of talked a little bit more in my video about kind of the difference between Fins and Islander, because that seemed to kind of confuse some people that were on our sailing. Yeah. Well, so yeah, food wise was pretty good. Hey, look who it is! It's
Hey,
Peter!
Patrick!
Hey, there he is. This is my boy. You're my boy, Blue.
Patrick, we missed you.
So much so you're here. You're here in our live, Patrick. We love you. Heart.
But
Heart.
but without a doubt, the brunch I would pay for
Yeah.
over and over again. The steak,
Same.
and I'm looking at a la carte type things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brunch, definitely.
Yep. Yep.
Steakhouse, if it were a special occasion. If it
That's
were
exactly. That's what I said in my video. That's what I said in my video. If you're celebrating something or it's your first time, do it.
yes. But
Yeah.
would I, if on a regular random April day where we're going, that there probably would not. You know,
Yeah.
but if
Yeah.
I would definitely do the steakhouse celebrating something.
Yep. Yep.
The sushi, 100% I would do. The sushi,
Same.
we got, each of us got 2 rolls, and I couldn't even finish the second roll. They
Yeah, that was
they
rough.
were big. I mean, they were like
Huge.
this size sushi rolls.
Yeah.
Okay, not quite that big, but they were bigger than most other cruise ship rolls. You know?
Yeah.
And my fish was this big. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I've seen his fish. It's that big now.
Thank you. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree. And like, so I did because it's $25 dining credit when you're using the dining package, or you could buy it a la carte if you don't have the dining package. The rolls were $10 a piece, which I thought was fantastic pricing for being on a cruise ship and the size of the rolls. I also got the edamame. The edamame was $3. So I spent $23. I bought a soda as well, which you can't use any credits towards drinks. None of that a la carte purchase credits go towards drinks. So I ended up spending, I think, $3 or $4 or whatever, because my total was $23 plus the gratuity and then the soda. So I think I ended up spending like $2 or $3, but no big deal there. And I would totally do it again. But yeah, I honestly could have split those rolls and been perfectly fine. I think one of the biggest things that we ran into was there's more restaurants than there is time to eat at all the restaurants.
Exactly. Which is a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. But I do wish I could have experienced the burger joint. I wish I could have had more. I say the burger joint. I've had it. I wish I could have experienced it more. I wish I could have experienced the Mexican cutie more. I wish I could have experienced the nighttime pizza, but I missed it. I forgot to go back to try the pizza because it's different at night than it is during the day. It's a thin crust during the day and a thick crust at night. I forgot to check that out. I am super excited because in, I don't know, 7-8 weeks, I'll be on an MSC ship again, so I can get the best pizza at sea. I'll be on the MSC Seashore, and MSC does have the best pizza at sea, so I'm super excited about that.
And then in 3 weeks, I'll actually be on the other Margaritaville, the Paradise.
Yeah.
And so watch out for those videos because I'm going to do actually a comparison between the two.
Yeah, which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, and the Paradise actually, when it first came out, the Frank and Lola's, their pizza was a paid area. Like you had to pay for that. But they just recently, within the last 2 weeks, changed that to now the pizza's on the buffet and included. And they converted what was the pizza place into the sushi.
Oh, interesting.
So they added the sushi on there, the Far Side sushi, and then moved the pizza to the buffet area where it's included in there.
Yeah, cool. I didn't know that. No, I'm definitely looking forward to your comparison. You freshly coming off of the Islander. I think a lot of people talk smack, or a lot of people did not really like the Paradise because they had nothing else to compare it to.
Right.
because all these ships are coming out and they're all these big, new, brand, massive ships. And then you go on the Paradise, and
It's like
because
35 years
they're
old, and
yeah, they're the newest kid on the block. They're barely dipping their toes in. They don't really know exactly what they're doing. And it showed, and a lot of people hated them for that. And it's like, bro, I mean, they're not out here being Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, man. They're just playing the game. Let them play. So
right.
I think as time has gone on, they've learned a lot. They come out with the Islander. I think the Paradise, hearing that they're kind of upgrading some of the things on the Paradise, I think will be really good for them in the future. So I'm really interested to see what you do on the Paradise and see what your kind of apples to apples comparison is going to be. That'll be good.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. I'm excited. It is only the 2-day cruise, but
You
how many times have you heard me say a cruise day is better than a
Tuesday is
work
better than a
day
work day
any
any day. Absolutely, that's true.
and if you don't believe me, then you need to go on a cruise. And
That's right.
if you go on a
Absolutely.
cruise and you
Yeah,
don't like it, then you got to go with me or Rob or
that's right.
Patrick
Or
or all three
Patrick.
of us
Yeah,
together.
that's right.
And then
The
you'll
three of us
realize that
together. Wow, that is something. That is something.
yeah, definitely. But
But
you know,
yeah,
like
so
the food can be like I said, on for a 4-day cruise, and
yep,
for what we had for the dining package, it was
yep.
hard to get everything in.
Yeah, the last day we ended up just the Tiki Grill and Island Eats. We were just like, give us one of everything. And then there
Right.
was us, and then we had Eric and Kat with us, and there are two friends that we made on the cruise who we've actually become really good friends with. And we were like, hey, you guys want to have dinner with us? Because we have $100 to spend across these two places.
Right.
And so like, yeah. So we all just literally were like, give me that, three of those and two of those, and let's go.
We
And
laid it all
that
out and
worked
ate
out.
family
Yeah.
style.
That was great. That was great. Good food. And that location's kind of weird. I talk about this in my review. The location's kind of weird because it's like at the pool in
Right.
the aft of the ship, which is technically an adults only area. I definitely think in inclement weather, that would be a terrible place to have dinner. But because you're so close to the buffet, you can just take it into the buffet because it's right next, it's like behind the buffet. So
Yeah.
you'd been fine there. But we had a great time because it was sunset and beautiful, and
Right.
it was the last night of the cruise. But
I need to do MSC just
yeah,
if nothing else, just for the pizza.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, in 8 weeks, whatever it is, we'll go on and I'll sneak a piece back.
Okay.
And then what we'll come into Port Canaveral on the 18th, and you'll come down to Port Canaveral on the 18th, and I'll throw it out the window at you.
Hey,
So
how
you can
about
try it.
this? I will when we go on the Paradise, I'll
Yeah.
get the Margaritaville pizza and put it in a little
Mm,
Tupperware container.
perfect.
And
Perfect.
then when y'all come down to do the
Put it in
MSC,
a Tupperware
and
container.
we'll
Great.
switch. Yeah, you just hang out your balcony.
There it is.
I'll fill
There
you
it is.
up the Tupperware, and you'll throw
Perfect.
me down the MSC pizza.
Yeah.
We'll try it.
Done. Done. Sounds great. Consider it done.
I love it
Yeah.
when a plan comes together.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. What else on the Islander? Let's talk about entertainment shows,
Okay.
the bands and stuff like that. I loved the fact, and two things. I was sad because friends of mine who are also content creators, they actually live on cruise ship. David and Stephanie Page were musicians on the Islander, and their contract ended like 2 or 3 weeks before we went on. And I was so bummed because I knew they were on the ship, and I thought I got the dates wrong. Apparently, I got the dates wrong. They were not there. I was so bummed about that. However, the people, hey, Dad, this is my dad.
Hey, Dad.
However, the band that did end up being there was also in the shows. And this is something that I thought was really interesting. There was that big band that played in like 3 or 4 different locations throughout the
Right.
time. And they were also, part of them also played in the production cast show. And I thought that was so interesting because usually you have like musicians, production cast.
Right.
This is the same group of people. And so like you're like, hey, I'm watching this guy in the show. And then the next day, he's playing the trumpet out in, in the bar or whatever. And you're like, hey, I just saw you on stage last night. So I thought that was
Right.
really cool. I thought they did a really good job with that. I really appreciated all the live music and stuff and the shows. The shows were pretty good. I was afraid that the shows would just be nothing but Jimmy Buffett and all the live music would be just cheeseburger in paradise. But much to my chagrin, that was not the case. So I thought that was really good. I really liked them. I love steel drums. So the guy in the flip flop bar just playing the steel drums,
Right.
or out on the pool deck, I just stand there. Just stand there and watch him. Hey man, I'm just gonna stand here and watch.
Yeah. Between the two shows, though, I liked the country show better than the
Yeah. Caribbean heat. Yeah.
Troparaca Caribbean show.
So it took me a second because I thought it was Rock the Trop, but that's the theme night. The second show was called Caribbean Heat Remix. And
Okay.
I will say this. Not the best shows at sea.
No.
Good shows, entertaining shows. Variety, the costumes, especially in the Caribbean Heat Remix, the costumes were fantastic. I felt like they were trying to shoehorn too many genres of music into the Caribbean Heat Remix. And because they're not going to do the whole song of all of them, I felt like it was too many songs by too many people with too many genres. And you were trying to like genre bend from one song to the other with a guy that can sing, but he can't rap. And so then all of a sudden you have this guy who's got a great, beautiful singing voice, is rapping, but he doesn't have the lyricism or the enunciation speed to rap at the level that Pitbull raps. So he's trying to keep up with the rap and it's not working. You're like, man, this really threw off the vibe because we really enjoyed the song he was just singing. And then the trumpeter came out. Then y'all changed gears and now you got this guy rapping and he can't keep up with the beat. And so I felt like it was too much. Like they were trying to just shove, hey, every top Billboard song we have to put in this show. And I felt like it was a little too much. So I would agree with you. I felt like the Chonky Tonk at Sea was much better of a show. It was much, I guess, more thought out of a show than the Caribbean Heat Remix.
Well, it's hard to go from Pitbull to Who Let the Dogs Out to Gloria Estefan to, it's hard to flow that. Versus on the countryside, when you're going from, Garth Brooks to Shania Twain, it's not that complicated because you're not going through different genres.
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
But in my personality, though, living here in Orlando and going to Disney at least once a week and seeing their Disney shows, the Margaritaville at Sea kind of felt more of a like High School Musical dance moves. Like you would see in your local high school production. Not to discredit them, it was good.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like quality as that
it wasn't
I'm
Broadway,
used to only because of where I live.
Yeah. No, I would agree. And I would say that honestly, Norwegian has the best shows that I've ever seen. MSC has great variety shows. I've never seen the things that MSC does on any other cruise ship. I will say Royal has a lot of really fancy things. I've not done a Royal yet, but I'm looking forward to their Aqua Theater and doing all that type of stuff down the line. So I understand their shows are great. But as far as like a theater show production, Norwegian Princess was really good. But yeah, Katie, Norwegian shows hand down. Yeah, you saw Burn the Floor. Burn the Floor is probably my favorite show I've ever seen at sea. But yeah, I mean, Norwegian's got some of the most amazing Broadway, literally Broadway shows. The Book of Mormon, Six the Musical, stuff like that. I mean, they have all that stuff on there. Absolutely wonderful. So it was nice. It definitely felt more carnival vibe than high-end production.
Right. But they did have the acrobats. They had the acrobatic people in there, which added the element.
Yeah.
Which added the element that Carnival doesn't always have. Carnival is song and dance, and that's about it. They had the acrobats with the guys holding each other with their teeth and spinning, and which was great because it added an element that wasn't
Yeah,
there on all cruise ships.
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I agree with that. I think that's probably why I kind of applaud MSC, because MSC has a lot of stuff like that where they have like random acrobats and contortionists, and then there'll be like a guy come out on a BMX bike and he's doing BMX bike trips and tricks in the middle of the show, and then they'll bring out one of those giant trampolines where the guys like jump off of a building and land on the trampoline and then like run up the wall and then they do a flip and like they just pull that out in one of their shows and you're like, what are you going to pull a cannon out and shoot a guy across the whole thing? Like, what's happening here? That's really fun. I love MSC for doing stuff like that. But then same thing, MSC does, they'll sing different languages. When we're on this Sky Princess,
Oh yes,
the rock opera.
opera.
They sang opera, actual opera. It was an actual show with culture and a different language and not Route 66 rock. Like that was great. Honestly, that was a breath of fresh air. So I would say that if you were to compare the shows or the entertainment, I would say it's definitely more on the carnival level.
Yes.
Which is, there's nothing to discredit that. It's just that style, that vibe, kind of that sing, dance, middle school, high school theater
Right.
type stuff, not a Broadway production. Although it was good. It was good.
Oh,
And I would say
definitely.
that about a lot of things. I would probably say that about most all of The Islander is it was good. It was good. The food was good. The entertainment was good. The ship was good. Everything was good. And that's why it cost less.
Right.
Nothing was great. Nothing was absolutely life-changing except that Eggs Benedict. That
Yes.
hands down best Eggs Benedict I've ever had in 23 cruises across 5 cruise lines. That Eggs Benedict, I dream about that Eggs Benedict. I suffered through my vlogs because I'd have to look at me eating that food, wishing that was me again. I wish I was there eating those things again. It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Definitely the brunch, without a doubt. I would go back for that. I would go back on that cruise just for brunch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we met some incredible people on this cruise. We always do, honestly. Like, if any of you are watching people that we met on this cruise, thank you so much for being a part of it.
Yes, definitely.
We had some great people. We had some not so great people on that cruise, but we definitely had some great people that we honestly, like, people that we've connected with. Like I said, Kat and Eric, we ended up hanging out with them in Orlando just a few weeks ago when we were back for Madison's birthday.
Right.
So, really, really great. It's been an absolute blast of a time. I would definitely go back on the Islander. I'd bring my wife, I'd bring my kids. It's definitely not a kid ship, but I don't think that a kid wouldn't have fun. Obviously, they have a pool. They have 2 pools. So, I mean,
They've got
technically, they have
water.
3
They've got a
pools, but
couple. Like, what, 3 water slides?
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, there's entertainment, there's things for kids to do for sure. But I feel like the vibe overall was more carnival, less party. And I
Yes,
say carnival
exactly.
in the sense of like it's more of like a family friendly hangout. And I didn't feel like it wasn't the fights. It wasn't a bunch of drunk people. It was just a lot of people having a good time. I think because a lot of people are afraid that it's going to be overly Jimmy Buffett-y. I think people stay away from that, which I like. I like the fact that that deters people because they don't get the bit of that, and
Right.
so the parrot heads are all there to have a good time and they're not disruptors. And did you see I got to go into the
Yeah.
speakeasy?
Yeah, I did.
I was keeping that a secret. I was keeping that a
You're
secret.
keeping that a speakeasy. Speakeasy.
Yeah, that's right. I was keeping that speakeasy a secret. They said, "Don't you tell nobody." I said, "I secret safe with me." But
That that is probably the most Jimmy Buffett area
yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
of anything, and that's
Yeah.
not. It's not something that you can just stumble across.
Nope. No, and it's and like literally when I talked to the assistant cruise director, he was like, "Listen, we want you to go in there. We want you to film. We want you to have a good time. Don't tell people where this is at. Like, we really want this to be a secret. We want this to be an experience," which makes sense. It totally makes sense because it really is. Now, I didn't get the like full experience. I just got to walk in, see a lot of the memorabilia and stuff, and then they kind of talk me through what they do. But they do have, craft cocktails, stuff like that. It's a very intimate experience. And so for those that are like if we were on uh, I would have said the Foo Fighters up until recently. If we were on a Foo Fighters cruise ship and they had a speakeasy for the Foo Fighters, I would have 100% spend the $100 or whatever it is, $90 to go do that and experience it and see all the little memorabilia and stuff. So if you're a Jimmy Buffett, if you're a Parrot Head, if you really are into that, then the speakeasy is totally worth it. And like honestly, all the theming and stuff, they have a ton of stuff around the ship. Little nods, tips of the hats. Every clock is 5 o'clock. Like it just all these little tips of the hats all over the place. The artwork all over in all of the stairwells. They have different themed blown out flip flops that are all painted differently. You can buy some of them. So there's a lot of those like tip of the hat type things that if you're a Parrot Head, then you would really appreciate it. I appreciated it for its on themeness, not necessarily for its Parrot Headness, but
Right.
I think overall I would 100% go back on that cruise, especially going back to Progresso. So let's talk
Yes.
about Progresso just
Yeah.
for a second.
I was thinking that same thing. I'm like, we got to get
Yeah,
to Progresso. I mean,
yeah,
and that this is to me, this is the whole thing. I'm looking at our time. We're like 51
yeah,
minutes,
yeah,
and we have not stopped talking about this cruise. That
yeah.
says a lot
Yep,
about the cruise. To me,
that's
it's
right.
like, okay, it's that good that we can talk about it for an hour, and we still
Yep,
haven't covered everything.
right, right. So yeah, so Progresso, which neither one of us had been to Progresso. This was a whole new experience for us. Now we both booked an excursion through the cruise line to go into the town of Merida. So
Hmm.
on the Yucatan Peninsula, you have Progresso, which has the largest pier in the world. It's four
Like
miles
four
long.
miles, yeah.
Yeah, you have to take a bus or some sort of transport into Progresso. Because we did an excursion through the cruise ship, we walked like blindly, don't look at any of the shops. We walked straight through all the shopping area at the pier and then got on our own buses that took us into the town of Merida. So we didn't quite see where you get dropped off in Progresso. That is probably one thing I regret is not. I feel like we should have got back on the bus or the
The
not
little
our bus,
shuttle,
but
yeah,
the little shuttle and just see what Progresso looked like. So we
right.
could have brought some of that because I can't quite speak to what is Progresso exactly. We drove through it. I just don't know where they drop you off. What I've heard more recently is that within like 3 or 4 blocks of where they drop you off, there's some really authentic cuisine that you can dive into. Some people have done some off cruise ship things that they have found through
Hmm.
private tours, just getting off of in Progresso and stuff. I usually try to go through the cruise ship just in case anything happens. Then I'm on their dime, not mine. So that is what we did. And honestly, we had a great time going into Merida. We got so much history and culture. Like my eyeballs were welling up inside with how much history and culture there was.
And that's the thing, going through and trying to edit and
Yeah, yeah,
put culture in there, but not put so
yep,
much history and things like that.
right,
I was like, I just want to put the whole 45-minute drive
right,
down
yeah,
there because it was just so much information.
yeah. And Jerry, our guide, was amazing. Like
Yes.
one of the best tour guides I've ever been a part of. Like, I don't think I've ever taken a picture with a tour guide before. I asked Jerry, can we get a photo together? Because I wanted to get a picture because I really did appreciate how, like, when he talks to you about the history of the Yucatecos, the people of the Yucatan Peninsula who want their independence, he talks with conviction and
Mhm.
pride. Like, these are my people. This is where I'm from. I want, and it, the only other time I've ever felt the same way was when I was in Ireland talking to a man who was from Killarney, who was our guide in Ireland, talking about the troubles of Northern Ireland and the like fighting between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland over like the 30 years of the troubles, and how much like he spoke with conviction of
Definitely.
like I have lost friends and family due to this fighting between Northern and Republic of Ireland. And like I've never had anyone like tear up when talking about their hometown. And Jerry was right there. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think his name was like Geronito or something like
There
that.
was
Yeah.
Geraldo. He had 4 names.
Right, right. Yeah. It was like, yeah. And so he was just like, you can call me Jerry. And we're like, okay, Jerry. But yeah, he was awesome. Again, the history, the culture, all that stuff. It's kind of a hop on, hop off experience. We stopped at 2 or 3 places where he kind of, hey, this is the history here. I'm going to tell you about it. You can either explore it on your own or you can hang out with one of us.
Right.
And we did that 2 or 3 times. So when we were at the fountain of the Capitol, it kind of talks about it's like a mural of all the states are on one side of kind of the Mexican peninsula. You have all the different states, and then on the other side you have kind of all the different people that were part of,
Right.
including Teddy Roosevelt, were part of the history where up into I think it was 1955 or 1960 when they finished this, that it's the history up until then, all the people that were part of this. And it was really great. And then we went into like a Central Plaza area, and they were just walking around as a group. And we said, hey, is it cool if we dip? We'll meet you at the other side. And they said, do it. And so Jason and I went into Mass and went into a service in one of those really big cathedrals that was housing the largest wooden sculpture of the crucifix in the world,
Right.
which I wish I could show you a picture. Like this is why I wish I was on my computer and not doing this vertically, because then I could just superimpose the picture. Because
Right.
there's the diocese. He's this big at the pulpit, and then the statue of Christ on the cross is this big. I mean, it's like it's got to be 40, 50, 60 feet tall or
Oh,
something.
at least. I mean, and the cathedral that it's in was they
It's
started
massive.
building it in like 1552 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he's like, you see this hole on the door? That's a cannonball from a, like,
Yeah.
okay. Because someone was pissed off, so they shot a cannon at the church. Like, what? Yeah, so that was really cool. And then, of course, one of our top parts of Merida was eating. Everyone says, oh, you should go to this place. And you go, I'm not going to go to that place. Those people are in your pocket. Like when Katie and I and Madison went to Mazatlan, we did a topless bus tour in Mazatlan. The bus was
Woohoo!
topless,
No.
not us. Yes, I
Oh,
know.
oh, okay, sorry.
Disappointing. Oh, Rob, not topless. Sad. But
I've
we
seen it.
did.
It's not that
Yeah,
great.
yeah. It's not that great. I mean, whatever. All
Yeah.
right. So we go on this bus. They take us around, and they're like, "We're going to go to this shopping spot," and we're like, "Oh, okay, cool." So we go to this shopping spot. It turns out it's like the uncle of the person that owns the tour. They're the only shop that's in this area that's open for like 3 hours. Every other place is closed. So the only place you could shop is here at their spot. And I was like, seems a bit nepotism. I don't know.
Right.
It just seemed a bit like this is here because you can bring us here and nobody actually wants to shop for this. Can we go somewhere else? No, no, no. We got to stay here. Okay.
And that
Every
was
other place is closed. You
and
do you
that was
sell it? It's like stupid.
yeah, and that was kind of our hesitation of wanting to go there because on this tour, they said multiple Jerry told us multiple times, we're going
Yep.
to drop you off at this restaurant. You can
Yep.
have lunch at this restaurant. We're going to
Yep.
pick you back up at this restaurant.
Right.
Remember, look for Casa Maya. That's our
Yep.
restaurant. That's where we're meeting. That's where we're meeting. And you can
Yep.
do a little shopping around there.
Yep.
And same idea, we're thinking like they're plugging this restaurant for a particular
Right.
reason. They get a
Yeah.
kickback, they get something else. So we're
Yeah.
like, let's go find something. Let's go
Right.
find something on our own. We decided not to eat the Burger King there. It
Yeah.
looked
Yeah.
inviting, but we're like, no, let's. But we went into a couple shops, probably 3 or 4 different shops, and even met people on the street. And I'm like, hey, where can we go to get authentic? We want
Yep.
real, authentic food, and not just uh, a Yucatani,
Right.
flavored Burger King or something like that. Not
Yep.
looking for that at all.
Right.
And everybody told us to go to the same place. They all told us to go to
Mhm.
Casa Maya, which
Yep.
is our meeting spot. So now
Yep.
either the whole town is benefiting from Casa Maya or it's worth it.
It's worth it. And so we went, and it was worth
It
it.
was
It was
worth it.
absolutely worth it. Literally, I can't believe we doubted Jerry for a second because
Right.
he knew what was up. And I had the local Yucatan delicacy, which was the pork, kind of wrapped in the banana leaves type stuff. And
Right.
it was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, I would 100, like, I literally I said this in the vlog series, which if you haven't checked out our vlog series, you have to go check out our vlog series. We go in depth and all the stuff that we're talking about. We show it all. You can see it,
Yeah.
taste it, hear it. But it felt like the first bite I took, I was like, this is magical. And then the second bite I took, I said, I need to get my wife here because
Mhm.
she's going to love this because it was so good. I was like, I can't tell my wife about this. She won't
Right.
understand if I tell my wife. I have to bring her here and stick this food in her mouth so that she can enjoy the amount of heaven I am enjoying right now with my best bud, Jason.
Oh,
And I stand
yeah.
by that. I stand
Yeah.
by that.
Definitely need to bring my wife. I've got the menu pulled up, and I'm showing her. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, what would you eat? Would you eat this? And would you eat this?
Yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, that looks really good, and that looks really good, and I like that. And I had octopus and shrimp tacos, which were really good.
Yeah.
Uh, just the whole dinner, and that friggin' pepper, about the hottest pepper I've ever had. And I didn't even get paid $20 to eat it. I just
That's
ate it on my
right. That's
own.
right. I was not. Patrick and I were not there. We were not. We were not egging you on. Nothing. You straight up. You literally like. I was just sitting there minding my own business, and you're like, "Hum," and I'm like, "Well, that was ballsy." And then you're like,
Yeah.
and I was like, "I didn't even." And I was like, "I got to get the camera out to show I had nothing to do with this. This was not me. I did not. No $20 was $20 was put on the table. Nothing.
It was 100% on me, and I regret it.
Yeah.
But the soup that it came with was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. Oh, I would go back to Merida just to eat again.
Same. Same. Yeah. It
And
was
de-
so
and
good.
we definitely need to bring our wives.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, like I would say the cruise as a whole was a great experience. I would 100%, if someone was like, I've never done a cruise before and I need it to be a gentle,
Hmm.
I can't cannonball into the cruising world. I need to slowly walk in. How do I do that? I would say Margaritaville Sea. The
Definitely.
Islander, I think, is a perfect way to dip your toes into cruising. You get the vibe, you get the experience, you can do all the crazy things if you want, but it's not imposed on you. I feel like sometimes on carnival ships, especially some of the more partier weekend vibe ones, the
Exactly.
party is always coming at you. So you can't really avoid it, even if you want to. I did not feel that way on
No, not
Margaritaville
at
at
all.
all. And then on the opposite side of that, you have like the Princess, the Sky Princess, where like there's no party vibe and it comes nowhere near you. And so like that's the other side. You have
Right.
Carnival, then you have Princess, and then in the middle somewhere in a perfect medium, I think is Margarita and Sea Islander. I think you really do get to have the vibe. You can feel the party. It's not shoved down your throat. You can find a quiet spot if you so choose, and everything is simple. Um,
Exactly.
Sometimes I feel like when you go on cruises, there's so many options for food and things like that that like, well, oh my gosh, what do I even have? But their menus are really simple. They don't
Right.
have a lot of stuff on their menus. Same thing with the buffet. They're not very fancy. They don't have 19 different things on the salad bar. Okay. There's no anchovies. There's no nothing. You get salad, tomato, onion, dressing. That's it. There's no sunflowers. There's no meat. There's no cheeses. There's no hard boiled eggs sliced up in pieces.
Right.
So there's none of that like, what do I get? You want to do something, have a cheeseburger, have a taco, have some, shrimp, some chicken, some steak, pretty chill.
Yeah, it's almost like
It's
they
great.
decided instead of doing everything, let's give you 50 different options and do it
Right.
mediocre
Right.
or better than average. Let's cut it
Yep.
down and let's give you 7 and let's do them
Yep.
really good.
Yep. 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 Yeah, I
Yeah,
would 100% agree with that across the board. I just wish that, and I think the only thing that I'd probably be my only complaint of the entire experience would be the steakhouse was disappointing to me. It was still good food. The steakhouse was good food,
right.
but just in comparison to other experiences I've had on similar cruise ships, it just did not meet my expectation, especially when it's $55 a person. It
I
just
I I 100% agree. And
yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about an introduction to cruising
yeah,
and going on the Islander. I
yep,
would I would feel much better sending like my mom on the
yep, yep,
Islander
absolutely.
than I would sending my mom on a Carnival Excel class or a
Yep,
Royal Icon
yep,
class.
yep,
I was watching a
absolutely.
video the other day because we're looking at going on the Star of the Seas,
Yep,
and I'm like, it's 8,000 8,000 guests, not to
yeah,
mention the 2,200 crew. I'm like,
right.
I don't know if I want to be on a 10,000 person ship,
Yep.
and they've got
Because
so
I
many
like
different
just
things.
any port you go to is going to be so busy. That's the thing is like you could have, two or three ships in Nassau, four or five ships in Nassau, and it equates to one icon class.
Exactly.
The moment you get an icon class and three or four other smaller ships, you're going to have 30,000 people in Nassau. And you go, God, this is crazy.
Right.
I don't know. I personally, I don't like the bigger ships. I like the smaller ships.
Me
And
too.
I'm confused because there's so many ports, especially in Florida, where you go under a bridge. And so you have to have a smaller ship, and no one's ordering new smaller
Nope.
ships. So, like Tampa, you have to go under the Skyway. Jacksonville, you have to go under a bridge. New York, you have to go under a bridge. All three of those have to have smaller ships because they
Right.
can't get the bigger ships in there, and yet no one's ordering ships. And that's
Nope.
three out of I think I was counting today. I think there's got to be maybe I think I counted 17 ports in the US. I think 15 or 17 ports in the US total, like that I know of that you leave out of. I think there's a lot of ports you can come to and visit, like Key West, but you don't
Right.
actually leave
You
out of
don't
Key
leave from
West.
there.
Right.
Yeah, that's well,
Because
yeah,
Florida's got five.
there's probably between 17 and 20
Yeah.
between everybody.
Yeah. So it's
Um,
like, so you're talking three of them, and there may be more that you have to go under a bridge. I mean, New Orleans, I don't remember going under a bridge, and we were
but
on
you
the
also
breakaway.
in New Orleans, you got to go down the Mississippi for a little bit,
That's right. That's
so
right.
that limits the size of the ship as well.
Right. Because of depth and stuff. So, yeah, because displacement, because you're sitting so far into the water with such a big vessel, you're displacing so much water that when you come into the waterway, you raise the level up everywhere else. So you're right. You probably can't be over a certain size, which the breakaway, because I was on the breakaway when I left out of New Orleans, that is a bigger but not huge ship. So I'd be interested.
Okay. Hmm.
Anyways, well, is there anything else you wanted to cover as far as the Islander goes?
I don't think so. And I mean, now that the Islander, they're also doing 7-day cruises coming up too.
I would love to go on a 7 day on the Islander. I think, especially with the dining package, I would 100% do that. And I would
Yes.
try and aim to check out the Islander dining room more than just the one time we did. That would
Right.
definitely be something I'd be interested in for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the dining package that we had and a 4-day cruise, we did not have enough time to
Yeah.
truly
Yep.
eat everything we wanted
Yep.
to.
Yep.
Um,
And I never thought about this up until literally yesterday when I was working on tomorrow's video. Uh, did you ever check out the specialty coffee shop? Like I looked at it, but I never got anything from there.
I never got anything from there either.
We should have checked that out. Obviously, that wasn't part of a package or anything, but I definitely would have liked to check that out. At least maybe look at the menu and see, because I don't even think I glanced at what specialty coffees they had. I wasn't with my wife, so I don't do the specialty coffee. I brought my own coffee with my little emergency creamer, so I definitely didn't need it, but
And
if my wife
I
was
drink
there,
my
we would have
coffee
checked it out.
black, so I don't,
Yeah.
I don't always do the specialty coffees.
Okay. Scott
Okay,
says the coffee shop was very good.
all
Thank
right,
you,
guys.
Scott.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah. I was like, man, I really wish I would have like went and looked at the menu. It's funny because I remember I was looking through a couple of clips where I think I was doing my yeah, Katie, this is why you need to go so we can get the fully rounded experience. We'll just have to go back now
Yeah, Katie,
so
you
that
and
we can get the
Julia can
full experience.
go to the you and Julia can go to the coffee shop every day.
That's right. Yeah, and we'll meet you at brunch.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I wish that I had got that. But I was going through footage and I saw Kat and Eric there. I had caught a clip of them ordering something.
Mhm.
And I thought, man, I got to reach out to them and see if they liked it or not because I need to put that in my review. But yeah, so okay, so you have the Paradise coming up,
I've got the Paradise coming up in
and
3 weeks.
then 3 weeks, and then I have the MSC Seashore coming up in May, and then us and P&B's Wide World of Ports
Yes.
are going to be on the celebration, Carnival Celebration, heading to Celebration Key, their new private island. Booked for
I
next
said,
July on the Sun Princess with a Naughty Cruiser. Mike is a really funny guy. I love Mike. When I was on the Vlogger Extravaganza, me and him hung out a little bit, and then we ended up. I want to say we were on the same flight coming home to Florida from New Orleans, and we stood next to each other in the luggage, getting our luggage, and it was like super delayed. And so we just sat there and talked shop for like 45 minutes waiting for our luggage to finally hit the conveyor. But it was pretty funny. Yeah, him and Tony got real close there. So I could definitely see Mike, kind of taking after Tony in that vibe. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I should look more into doing group cruises. I love that guy that I was talking about from Bite Size Cruises, his travel agency. They're out of Philadelphia or something like that up north. So they do a lot of stuff up there. But he flies everywhere to do cruises, and they do a lot of group cruises. And I just haven't had the time. I want to say they were doing a Halloween group cruise on a royal ship. Maybe it was a year ago, 2 years ago, and I was so close to booking it, and then something came up, or it was like maybe right after we moved here, and so I couldn't swing because we had just got off of the seaside, and then we were moving here into
right.
Tennessee and stuff. So that would be cool. Do a group cruise on the
Yeah.
Islander.
I would definitely do a group cruise on the Islander. And yeah, maybe we'll look into that.
Maybe my people will talk to your people, and we'll see if we can get something going.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then yeah, looking forward to September on the celebration. Check out Celebration Key. I hope it's all done by then. It should be.
Well, they're doing phases of it.
True.
So I don't know exactly know how much will be open
Yeah.
because I know they're opening some things, and then next year they're opening a little bit more. I think by 2027, um, everything should be done.
True.
But I'm
Scott
definitely
says he'd
looking.
do one in the
I'm looking
summer.
forward to Celebration Key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we can figure something out in the summer, Scott. And then
I am like Katie is a fan of the XL ship. I'm not a huge fan of the XL ship. I'm interested because we're doing the Family Harbor suite, so we'll be right next to the Family Harbor. Yeah, it's called a suite, isn't it? Family Harbor suite.
yeah, you've got the Family Harbor Ocean View Suite.
Yes, and then we are going to be like literally right next to the lounge.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that because
And
they
the
have an
lounge
ice
is
cream
really
machine.
nice.
They have an ice cream machine
Yeah.
in the lounge. So we get ice cream whenever we want, like all the time. Like it's literally outside of our room. Like we're gonna open our door, walk directly across the hall, 3 steps later, ice cream.
Yeah.
Dangerous. That's gonna be dangerous for my wife and daughter who love, love, love ice cream.
Yes.
Me, on the other hand, not a fan. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I think I only did one ice cream on the Islander.
I didn't have any.
Yeah.
The only ice cream I had is the banana split that we shared.
Oh yeah, the banana split that we split. So funny. Yeah. That's good.
Oh,
All right. Well, Jason, thanks for joining me, bud. This was
yes, sir.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you for setting everything
It's
up.
nice. Yeah, absolutely. I'm so glad that we got to do this. And if you don't know, Jason and I, like I said, have cruised a couple of times together. Both of our channels have a ton of different content. They hate to see us coming. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the Arlenes, they're coming. It's slow motion. Things are blowing up behind them. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, so between P&B's Wide World of Ports back there, our boy Patrick, Jason, and I, we have done a ton of Norwegian, Carnival. All of us have done a ton of Carnival. We've all done, well, P&B's. So Patrick and me have done MSC. You need to get on an
I need
MSC.
to get on MSC.
Yeah, we've all done Princess. We did our big Princess Guys cruise together, which was so fun.
Yes.
And then, of course, now we've done MSC, which is great. So we
And then
just need to keep on going. So
I'll be doing one royal one in
yeah,
February of next
awesome.
year.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely need to get on that. So, but yeah, so I mean, we've got, if you want to look into any of the ships that we've done, I have playlists all over my channel that's at all the
Same as
different
I.
ones. And yeah, so if you want to search through our channels to find out specific ships or reach out to us, and then of course you can find us all across all the social media platforms. You have the Jolly Cruise Vlogger,
Yes.
and then of course Here Today, Where Tomorrow. So pretty much Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. You could find us everywhere. TikTok, all
Yes.
those things.
All the
So,
same. All the same.
yep. So again, Jason, thanks so much for joining me.
No problem. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And thank you all for joining us and humoring us so we could kind of brainstorm ideas for our reviews. Both of us will have some more in-depth reviews coming out here soon. So thank you
Thanks,
guys for
Scotty.
getting involved. Thanks, Scott, for being here. Appreciate you. And it was great. If we met some of you guys on the cruise, we definitely or this cruise or any other cruise, we thank you guys for the continued support and stuff. So
Yes, very much.
if
So.
you
Thank
have
you.
not subscribed to the Jolly Cruise Vlogger or my channel, please, Here Today, Where Tomorrow, subscribe to us. And if you want to throw Patrick at P&B's Wide World of Ports a couple of subscribers, he would be greatly pleased that he's now in our live and his head's been put on a spike. And we had a few laughs at his expense. So if you could give him a couple of subscribers, that'd be great too. But
Yes.
love you, Patrick.
Nothing but love, Patrick. My
All
heart's kind
right.
of weird, but
That's all right. So are you. That's okay.
Well,
We love
my
you
heart
anyway.
physically, my heart's weird too. But
That's true.
that's another series of
yeah.
unfortunate
All right,
events.
man. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, thank
We'll
you
do
very
this
much.
again after the next one. But Jolly Cruise Vlogger, you want to close with yours?
Oh, now which one? Now I got two of them, but the most important one is
That's right.
the most important. A cruise day is better than a work day any day.
Of course. What's the other one?
Oh, it's Merry cruising to all and to
There
all a
you
good
go.
night.
There you go. That's right. That's right. That's the new one. That's the
That's the
new
new one.
being workshopped and tested out here.
Yes.
That's awesome. So my name's Rob from Here Today, Where Tomorrow. And of course, we will see you there. Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.